Welcome back to Politics 2016. I'm Dave Barry along with Mayor Lynn Hall. Lynn, 2015 started with some big changes at City Hall. There was a number of key personnel in the city that were switched in, switched out. One was the city manager, another was the communications director. There were buyouts involved or severance packages, and it was a pretty expensive type of move, I suppose, for the taxpayers. Why do we need to do that? Like, what was the purpose behind
and I think first off, when you talk about the expense, not as great as one might think, and when we took a look at the operation and we made that change, particularly with a new city manager, that's a big step. And as we all know, Kathleen Soltis has been around the community, born and raised here, and also has spent 29 years with the city. And it was a good fit, and Kathleen has done a tremendous job. And it's, I think, all part of looking at, really how we want to be as a city, as a corporation of a city, and how we want to move that out into the community. So some changes early on, but I think certainly they paid dividends for us.
Right, so Kathleen moved into the city manager's position, but how did that change to the average taxpayer? How did they benefit from a change like that?
Well, I think for the average taxpayer, and certainly when you take a look at change, you take a look at the entire umbrella, Dave. It's what does it mean to the taxpayer? What does it mean to the operation of the city? And I think from our perspective, it was just a different approach. And as I said, Kathleen brings a number of years of experience, and it was just that the knowledge about our city and the direction that she felt she wanted to take it with her senior team. So that, I think, has had a real positive impact. Not only inside City Hall, but also, for the residents. We're a different council. We're a different organization than we were a year ago. And I think that we've reaped a lot of benefits from that.
But a different council, does that mean that we're going to see a new city manager for every council?
No, I can't speak for every council that's going to come after us, but for this particular council, this is the decision that council made. So future councils will decide what they want to do. And so I can't speak for them, but certainly for us, it was a position that we wanted to take, and that's where we are today.
Previous to the election, in the fall of, I guess it would have been 2014, there were some serious morale issues within the city. How much has moves like that changed that situation, and how do you see the morale situation in the city now?
Well, I think the move has certainly changed the morale around the city operation. From my perspective, I see a huge change. And as mayor, I was really looking at being more in tune with what was going on, and certainly being more accessible by not only the residents of Prince George, but by the staff. So I'm around each floor at City Hall almost daily, up to our other various operations, in and out of rinks and that kind of thing. And I see a real change in morale. And I think it's just a different approach, Dave, is what this council wanted to take.
Right, and that's obviously good for a person who has to work at City Hall or work in the city, but as a taxpayer, again, does it translate into a better bang for the buck? Or?
Yeah, I think it does. So when you take a look at our staff are the frontline folks that you and I see every day. They don't see council every day. They see our staff every day working on streets, our mowing lawns, working on our buildings. And it's really been a real positive change, and I think a different outlook. And by changing that kind of outlook for staff, or the morale for staff, you see, I think, so many positive things come from that. So I think from a taxpayer perspective, that different approach is certainly a payoff.
Let's change gears a little bit to another big change this year within the city, and that was the situation with Initiatives Prince George. Was that a surprise? Do you think it's fair to term that as a surprise when the city decided to basically cancel the organization and bring it back under the City Hall roof?
Yeah, so what we did, and first of all, I'm sure it was a surprise to some. And really what we did is we didn't renew the agreement with IPG, and we moved the economic development arm into City Hall. two things. One is that we are going to realize a saving of about $500,000. And the other piece of that, Dave, is that we wanted to have the economic development arm tied closer to our development services. And so Mr. Wells is certainly working very, very closely with the manager of economic development, and that's an important piece. We needed that and wanted that connection. So it's working out quite well. We thought we would be up and running January 1st, but really we've been at it now, and that those pieces have been in place now for about 2 months.
But wasn't it purely done for a cost-saving measure?
No, I think there was two components, as I say, Dave. The cost-saving one was certainly one, but the other piece was around us looking at having the economic development arm work much closer with City Hall, specifically the Development Services Department. You know, this is done throughout the province, and in many provinces you'll see arm's length organizations like IPG was, or you will see in-house organizations. I think what's important, though, is that this organization in-house, they work independently. They're no different than many other departments in City Hall. So, and as you know, we're moving forward with an advisory committee to the economic development arm, and that'll be a good cross-section of our community, and they'll have the opportunity to you know, provide advice and different ideas to our manager of economic development and her team.
IPG, one of the key measures of success, I suppose, for them was development of new business and new organizations, new franchises coming into the city. How do we measure success now?
Well, economic development is a tough thing to measure, and I think if you talk to any economic development office throughout the province, they'll say that. When we take a look at what success is, I think we base it on a few things. What kind of growth have we had on the tax base? What kind of growth have we had with you know, physical buildings, because that's what you see. We base it on what we can draw into the community, or what the economic development arm draws into the community for industry, commercial, and retail business. What kind of housing starts do we have, commercial building starts, that kind of thing. Those are all part and parcel of what we like to take a look at as far as a potential measurement.
And when is it fair to take that measurement, do you think?
Well, we're seeing some of that measurement almost on a quarterly basis. We get reports back through our permitting, through development services and our permitting. But I think fair to say we would probably have a conversation 6 or 8 months into the new year. That would have given you know, them a number of months to get their feet under them. So we'll start to take a look at that probably mid-year 2016.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back more with Lynn Hall, our mayor in Prince George.